All right, by now, we've all seen the disturbing videos of Hamas protesters burning the American flag at our nation's capital. So it begs the question now, how does the Biden administration appease their base, these very same people, while meeting with the Israeli prime minister?
And joining us now to discuss, former United States ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador John Bolton. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us on American Agenda. You witnessed what happened yesterday with Prime Minister Netanyahu speaking, and of course, over 30 Democrats not being there, Kamala Harris not being there. Based on that, and also based on these protests, what do you think the Biden administration, specifically President Biden speaking with Netanyahu now, is going to try to accomplish in today's meetings?
Well, the Biden White House is still pressing very hard for an agreement between Israel and Hamas that would have a ceasefire in the conflict in Gaza and have the release of some unknown number of Israeli hostages still held by Hamas. Now, these negotiations have been underway for months, and we've heard time and time again, they're very close, and maybe they are this time. And if it comes through, maybe it will happen. And there are all kinds of reports of other things, closer relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel and others that would flow very quickly from it. The problem is Hamas wants a permanent ceasefire and a withdrawal of all Israeli forces from Gaza, and Israel wants a ceasefire a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, two obviously irreconcilable positions. So I think that's really going to be the immediate subject of conversation, to see if somehow or another, from the Biden point of view and really the Harris point of view, the conflict can be brought to a halt before the November election. The bigger problem is this is not just a Gaza Hamas-Israel conflict. This is fundamentally a war being waged by Iran against Israel through terrorist proxies like Hamas, but also including Hezbollah, the Houthis, and others. We're talking here about one front of this war in Gaza, but not the whole war. And obviously, Israel faces threats all around its perimeter.
Ambassador, Netanyahu said yesterday that Israel, by holding Iran, their proxies at bay, protects the United States just as well, that their ultimate goal is to get to the West, with the main target being the United States of America. Is that true?
Yes, if you listen to Iranian rhetoric over the years, and I've listened to it for longer than I care to acknowledge, they call Israel the little Satan, but they call the United States the great Satan. And we are the target. I think the Arab states, the Gulf Arab states, in many respects are almost as big a targets for the Iranians as Israel, and stand in between what Iran wants for its status in the region. So this is a very broad conflict. This regime in Iran remains just as revolutionary as when it took power in 1979, just as dangerous for Israel and for us.
Ambassador, last question before we run out of time. But so what should the United States plan of attack, or strategy be rather, with Iran, whether it's this administration, whether we have a new administration come the beginning of next year? But what is the best way to move forward to protect our country from Iran?
Well, if you look at the big picture, not just what's in front of us at any point in the near future, the only answer, the only real way to bring peace and security to the Middle East is to have the Ayatollahs replaced by a different regime, a regime the Iranian people can select on their own and not have imposed on them by the military force of the Revolutionary Guards and others that protect the Ayatollahs. It's been true for 45 years now. This regime in Iran is responsible for more instability in the Middle East, I think, than any other country or combination of countries combined. That's a policy that will take time, but the Iranian people themselves are dissatisfied with the regime. We ought to be finding ways to aid the Iranian people and remove the Ayatollahs. That's the only long-term solution. And the longer we take to face up to it, the more threats we're going to have, the nuclear threats and the terrorist threats.
All right, all excellent points. Ambassador John Bolton, we truly appreciate your insight and expertise. Thank you.